booktubers, so we are here with this week's video, and yes, it is another book review, and for the first time we are doing a book that I am not a fan of, but I figured I couldn't keep giving you books that I love because there are books that I do not like. This is actually the very first book that I ever fell asleep reading. Even when I was learning how to read and hated every moment of it, this is the very first book I fell asleep reading. I'm sure there are people out there who love this book that love it to death, but I am not one of them. I cannot stand it. I have read it the once, and the only reason it is still on my bookshelf is because I don't believe in getting rid of books. Well, I don't believe in burning books. At one point in my life, I assume I will get rid of it. The book that I am doing this week's review on is called The Alchemist by... I'm sorry, Paulo, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. But I'm sure you are a great guy. Oh yeah, he is a great guy. He is a best-selling, influential author. Oops. Let me read you the inside panel, because even though it is paperback, it does have an inside panel, which I thought was cool. This novel has inspired a devoted following around the world. This story, dazzling in its powerful simplicity and inspiring wisdom, is about an shepherd boy named Santiago, who travels from his homeland in Spain to the Egyptian desert in search of a treasure buried in the pyramids. Along the way, he meets a gypsy woman, a man who calls himself king, and an alchemist, all of whom point Santiago in the direction of his quest. No one knows what the treasure is, or if Santiago will be able to surmount the obstacles along the way, but what starts out as a journey to find worldly goods turns into a discovery of treasure within. Lush, evocative? I think. I'm not good with words. And deeply humane. The story of Santiago is... Shut up, train! The story of Santiago is an eternal testament to the transforming power of our dreams and the importance of listening to our hearts. Now, when I read it, I didn't get any of that. I got a shepherd boy traveling across the desert. That's about all I got. Santiago, he himself is an intriguing character because he's just this little shepherd boy. Well, he's not little, but he's just this shepherd boy traveling all the way from Spain into the desert of Egypt for a treasure that no one knows anything about, just that it's in Egypt. It's in it. Wait, it said it was in a pyramid, right? Yeah, it's a treasure in a pyramid in Egypt. That's it. That's all he knows, but he's going anyway. And I think it takes a lot of strength of character and courage to do something like that, because he knows nothing. He's traveling from his home in Spain all the way across into Egypt. Not an easy trek, especially not by himself. He's traveling mostly on foot, if I remember correctly. But and the characters he meets along the way. The gypsy, she's... I don't remember a lot about the man called King, who called himself King, but I do remember about the Alchemist, and he was probably one of the most interesting characters in the book. As the panel said, the plot of it is Santiago traveling from his home in Spain to the desert in Egypt to look for this unknown treasure in the pyramids. And he does get there eventually, but it really does become a story of character building and learning who you truly are as you go. The book is actually fantastically written. The imagery provided, and just the way Paulo worded things, and he did a wonderful job getting the story across that he wanted to, having his readers visualize the story the way he wanted. He did an amazing job. I will give him that. He is a fantastic author. I understand why he is best-selling and world-renowned, and yes. Maybe it's just my personal thing where I prefer books that delve into the world of, fantasy and mythology and all that. Even though I do have a number of books that are about, our world, how it is, with no magic or fantasy, no mystical magic or fantasy involved, just the regular old magic and fantasy of everyday life. I do have a number of books like that I love. I don't know what it was about this book, though, that just could not capture my attention. I literally, for my summer reading project report, just rewrote the summary of the book and expanded it a bit. I got an A on it. There's that upside. But I don't know what it was about this book that it could not hold my attention. It could not get the main point across of the character building, and, you know, looking back on it now, older, 8 years older, I understand that. 17-year-old me was pretty much just like babble and drool. 17-year-old me fell asleep. I'm not even sure if I reread this now that I would get the message, though. It still is one of the only books that I have never been able to finish reading and rave about it. Maybe partly because it was for school. I was never a huge fan of having to read books for school. I rarely did my summer reading, but I went on vacation with both my aunts and they took away my notebooks until I read it. It was like punishment. It's like, read your summer reading or you're not getting these back. And, you know, you don't take away a writer's one source of writing, so I read the stupid book. Maybe that's part of the reason. Maybe if I did reread it, I would understand it. But I think it is definitely a more mature read. I think that was part of the problem. Even at 17 years old, I don't think I was mentally mature enough for it. Which there are a bunch of books out there that you do have to be mentally mature enough to read. And I give the authors kudos for being able to do that. I do kind of want to reread it just to give it another chance. I still don't know if I'm mentally mature enough to read it, but I do want to reread it to give it another chance. I probably won't, to be completely honest with you. But like I said, though, it is fantastic writing. The imagery and the wording and just how Paulo tells the tale of Santiago is amazing. It really, truly is. I wish when I first read this book that I had had the frame of mind to realize just how good the writing of it was. I was still a fresh writer, even though I've been writing for 5 years. I was only writing fan fictions. I hadn't actually tried to delve into my own world yet. Now I can look back and I can appreciate what went into creating a book like this, and it's amazing. It really is. This was supposed to be a rag video, and this is me turning around and turning this video into a soul-searching, oh my god, if I had read this when I had more of a frame of mind. Because, you know, I'm me. But, needless to say, The Alchemist is a mature book. You have to be not age mature, but mentally mature to fully grasp the message of this book. And if you are mature enough for that, I honestly think you will love it. I can't put an age range recommendation on it because, like I said, mentally, it's a mental maturity, and everyone mentally matures differently. So, get it. See if you are. If you're not, put it aside. Read it in a couple of years. See again. It's, like I said, it's all in the perspective of the reader. But I will give it 8 out of 10. I will give The Alchemist 8 out of 10. Because of how much it made me think 8 years after the fact of when I read it. It gets an 8 out of 10. So that is our review for The Alchemist by Paulo, however you pronounce his last name. I am so sorry, Paulo. That is my review for The Alchemist. I hope you enjoyed it. Go out, get the book, read it, live it, love it. Next week's video will be... What am I gonna do next week? I think I'm going to do another movie review next week. I like doing reviews, but I don't always like doing book reviews. I should have just called this a review channel. Yeah, I think next week will be a movie review, or maybe a mini-series review. I have a few of those that I like too. A couple I don't, but you know. Until then, give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. All of my social media pages and my blog site will be down in the description box below. Leave a comment if you've read the book. I'd love to know your thoughts, if you guys agree with me about the whole mental maturity of the reading thing. Like I said, my social media links and my blog will be down in the description box below. And I will see you guys next week.